Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be testing out a foundation. The one we are testing out today is the Dior Forever foundation, the original one. I have used this long ago, but I have since heard that they have reformulated it and it is amazing from what I have heard. So I figured let's put it to the test. So this is the Dior Forever. I have it in the color 2.5N. It does come in 28 different colors and it is $52 for 1 fluid ounce, which is your typical amount of foundation that you will get in a container. It does come in a glass jar with a pump. It is said to be a medium to full coverage foundation that you can wear on all skin types. It is supposed to have 24-hour wear and have a velvety matte finish with an SPF of 35. Now, if you're someone that matte is not for you and you're drier skin, they do also have a skin glow version of that. I am trying out the matte version because of the fact that I am oily combination skin type. So we are going to jump right into putting it on, trying it throughout the day and showing you what it looks like, and then coming back at the end to give you a full update on what my thoughts are. Before I start, I always use 2 items, and that is my Too Faced 3-in-1 Hangover RX Primer and Refreshing Spray and my Kopari Under Eye Balm. I'm going to start with the Kopari. You need the tiniest bit of this, and it just helps with smoothing concealer on. It doesn't settle into fine lines. It's super nice. Then my Too Faced spray, and then we're going to start in on the foundation. Now, while that's drying, I am going to apply the foundations 2 different ways. One with a beauty blender on one side of my face and one with a angled, just flat top kabuki style brush for this side of the face. I am also going to, because I like to do my full makeup, I'm putting my under eye brightener on. The one I use is from Lime Life. I will link everything down below as well too. But I like to do my full makeup here exactly as I always do it, so you guys can see how this works out and whether or not it looks the same as it usually does. We're going to be using the Dior Forever in the 2.5N. You're going to take this, and I just use a glass coaster like it's made for drinks. I'm going to start with 2 pumps. I'm going to start with the sponge side of my face. And I always start with my jawline. Everybody does it different, but I think I start with my jawline to see how it blends down through my neck. So the color is really good on this. It's applying well. I'm saying that it definitely needs a little bit of pouncing in some areas where I have some redness to make sure I get the full coverage. Then I'm going to go up onto my forehead. I am going to pull my hair back to make sure. But so far, it's got good coverage to it. Might be a little bit too dark or too orange on me. I'm not sure yet. At the end, I will talk to you about how this compares to my other traditional ones that I use. Like my go-to top 3. I will compare it to those and give you a little bit of feedback. But overall, it's looking pretty nice. It has a nice finish. All right, now I'm going to do another 2 pumps, and I'm going to do the other side of my face with the brush. Let's see. Typically, I will say that the brush eats up a little bit more of the product. So sometimes, I shouldn't do that with my mouth like that. Sometimes I need a little bit more product to get this side done. But I do feel like sometimes, especially under my eyes and things like that, I have a little bit more control with the brush, so I can kind of get it into the right spots without typically going over my eyebrows as much as it does with the sponge. So let's look. Both very, very similar. I mean, I'm not seeing anything that I'm like, okay, this is different from one side to the other. This one has a little bit of, I continued to bounce in that one spot where I have redness. I'm going to add just a little bit with the brush right in that area, because that area for me is one of the areas that breaks down. So All right, it's looking good. Needs a little bit more right through here. All right, I think that is pretty much it for the foundation. This is what it looks like at first application. I'm going to do the rest of my makeup in fast forward for you guys, and then we'll take another look at this. Applied it at first glance, I will say it is a nice finish. It is a good coverage. It has definitely medium to almost full coverage. It definitely kind of dries down a little bit. We will see throughout the day if it oxidizes. The coverage is one of the key things that I was definitely looking for out of a Forever foundation. And I will mention as well, it does have that typical Dior scent. So it is a scented product. So if you have a sensitivity to scent, that is something to be aware of as well when you're putting it on. It dissipates, it doesn't bother me, but that is something to take into consideration. So I'm gonna go about my day. I'm gonna check back in at 5 hours and at 10 hours and we'll see how it works. And then I'll come back at the end and tell you how it stacks up. So taking a look at this in natural sunlight, not direct sunlight, just natural sunlight, it still looks very nice. It doesn't look harsh on me once I go into a more natural light than what you guys are seeing with the studio lights. It does look very nice. It has a great finish to it. I'm very impressed with it thus far. I'll zoom you guys in so you can take a look. So this is what it's looking like in through here. And this is right after I put it on. I'm also going to take a photo with the flash on. And let's see how that flashes back. It looks actually pretty good. It doesn't have much flashback. I am going to try that in a darker area as well to see if it makes a difference. But I don't see any flashback on the initial photo, which is always a plus size. So we're also going to take a photo in a darker area with a flash. Let's see how this looks, see if it has any flashback. Doesn't seem to have much flashback. It has a little bit of, I would say, flashing in through the forehead, in through right here, but nothing too crazy, which is very impressive and something super important for me. 5 hour check-in, guys. All right, so a little bit of settling in through the chin, right here. It is definitely oxidizing a little bit. It is too yellow. The color is a little bit too yellow on me anyway, but as it sits throughout the day, it is slightly oxidizing. A little bit of settling in through here. But other than that, I mean, it's holding up well on my forehead, which is always my trouble area. It is holding up well in through here. It's mostly breaking down the areas that I have the movement, which is around my mouth and those areas like that. Holding up well, but the color just isn't my favorite. Just with the little bit, it's that little bit difference of yellow undertone to it. I will show you at the end some swatches as well so you're able to see it compared to some of my favorites. Okay guys, so wanted to show you real quick in not so direct sunlight, but the sun is coming in. I'm in the shaded area of direct sunlight. And then we're gonna walk outside and take a look at the actual bright sun as well. So you can see what this looks like in the bright sunlight. So you can get a feel for it. That's it. It is now a 10-hour check-in, and I will be honest, it has gotten very oily through here, but nothing that I couldn't have solved by blotting throughout the day. I just don't blot when I do this because I want to see how it actually works throughout the day. I could have blotted or used my Too Faced spray. Either of those would have reduced that amount of shine that is right there and right here. And not from a highlight, because there was a little bit of a highlight in my blush, but not a direct highlight, but you can see there's some reflection on either sides here. This part here did break down the most. That's where you saw the breakdown the most, in through my chin. I noticed with putting glasses on, it removed some of it there. That's normal for me. It did break down a little bit on either side of my nose. However, again, that's a matter of just getting the product in there right. So overall, I think it did stay decent. I do want to stop right here and show you guys some swatches so you can take a look at that compared to my other 3 top favorites. Then I'm going to come back and talk to you about the differences between them and what I like versus what I don't like. Let's talk some swatches here. So this one right here is the Dior Forever, the original one that we are testing out today, in the color 2.5N. The one next to it is the Dior Forever Undercover, which is one of my top 3 favorite foundations, in the color 034. As you can tell between these two, this one has much more pink to it than this one. This one has a little bit more of an orange undertone, just very, very slightly. And so this one is definitely a better match for me than this one. Then we have the one over here. This is Estee Lauder 3C2 is my color. And again, you can see it is very similar to this one right here, which has a little bit more of a pink undertone to it, which works out perfectly for me. And then my all-time favorite, which is the Lime Life foundation in the color Olive 2. This one is the ultimate best match for me. You can even see that as you see it on my arm, which is slightly different in color than the color of my face. But this one here is the most true match to me. These two are pretty much my go-to. This one is one that I like as well. But these are definitely my top 3. This one, you can tell the difference in color. I also add in a photo right here of the difference of them in natural sunlight, so you can see that. I will try and stack it one above the other so that you can see the difference, one on top of the other in natural daylight, so you can see what those differences are. You've been able to see the swatches against my other top 3 favorites, and I blotted a little bit after this and put a little bit of powder on just to make myself feel like it is normal. Let's talk about this foundation. I do think it is a good medium to full coverage foundation. I do find that they have a decent amount of color range. However, I will say, as I showed in the swatches, this one is a little bit too on the peachy kind of orangey side for me personally. I can totally get away with it, but it would not run into my top 3. It wouldn't knock one of those top 3 favorites out. I do think that the undercover version of this is a better version for me. The color matches better. Plus, I feel like it's a little bit lighter on the skin. It's a lighter product and it just looks a little bit better in natural light, outside, things like that. I have never done a review on that one, so maybe we will do that one day soon if you guys are interested. But it did hold up overall very, very well. I would say if the color match was better, this one would have been jumping up through some of my favorites. I definitely think that it has great staying power and has lasted on my combination oily skin throughout the day very well. Typically, I cannot go an entire 10 hours without blotting on any of the foundations that I typically use. Of my top 3, the one that has the best staying power on combination oily skin is Estee Lauder Double Wear. That by far, if I want to put a foundation on and not have it budge, is the one that I grab for. With that being said, those are my final thoughts on this product. I definitely think it's a good product. If you find the right color match, it can definitely be the right foundation for you. It just wasn't the right foundation for me. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you like this style of video and want to see what else I'm testing out, go check out this video over here. And I always try to post a video over here that I think would best suit you as well. The photo in the middle always takes you to subscribe and follow along here on my channel. If you are not yet subscribed, I would love if you click that button and followed along here with us. For the year of 2020, I do plan on doing a lot more foundation reviews. I am just loving it again and getting back into it. So as always, guys, thank you so much for watching and sticking with me, and have a great day. Bye.